Hey, how about it for 7 C's Bar and Grill, ladies and gentlemen? Everybody get something good to eat and drink out there for their amazing light fare before the show. So if I hear any stomachs rumbling, we'll assume that it's just the ghosts. They'll be serving drinks all night long, so feel free to run up and see what Carol Ann and Junior are serving in the concession area. It is October, so we've got to discuss a couple of hauntings in North County. One of which is happening right here, right now. Are you ready to meet your storytellers for the evening? She is the director of the Oceanside Historical Society, a dedicated researcher and preservationist for nearly 40 years. A detailed storyteller, she is the author of 2 books, The History of Oceanside and Oceanside, Where Life is Worth Living. Co-host of the upcoming Coastal Crimes podcast. The first episode is about the infamous murder by bodybuilder Killer Sally. And the second focused on the unsolved murder of cab driver Ray Davis. Please welcome Kristi Hawthorne. Next, a favorite personality throughout North County, currently working as the North County Donor Engagement Officer with the San Diego Rescue Mission, formerly Porsche Copeland. Please welcome our newlywed. Your moderator this evening is Kristi's co-host for the Coastal Crimes podcast and Miss Vista 2007. It's Portia Locker. I'll let you take it away, ladies.
You're up.
Well, Portia, I guess, to talk about some of the spooky things that are happening. As Zeke was saying, that we have a Coastal Crimes podcast, and one of my favorite subjects is dead people, but there are some spooky things happening here at the Avo, which we're going to discover very, very soon. But also doing research here in Vista. I was researching in the newspaper in 1895. The Oceanside Blade, because Vista didn't have a newspaper till 1927, but Oceanside covered things in Vista. And they said in 1895 something devilish was happening in Vista.
Stop it.
Buildings were being burned. They were not being identified as to who or to why. There had been a recent murder, and someone was shooting and killing horses, shooting them right in the forehead. Now that seems pretty evil to me.
Evil is an understatement.
And
yes,
and the newspaper referred to it as deviltry. There was deviltry. There was something devilish going on in Vista, and they had no explanation as to who and as to why. And that was in 1895. And so I just love that kind of stuff. I mean, it chills you. It wants you. I always want to know why. I always want to know who.
Right.
I always want to investigate. But I'm too scared to be one of those.
That makes 2 of us.
Ghostbusters.
Nope.
But the other thing, the 2 other haunted places, presumably, would be the Rancho Guajome. Cave Couts, who was the owner of Rancho Guajome, it was established in 1851. He was known to have quite a temper. He killed Juan Mendoza in 1865. In 1863, he shot, I think it was 3 people and killed one of them. They were burying their dead in a cemetery near his property, and they had died of smallpox. And Cave Couts was so enraged that they were bringing presumably what he thought was diseased bodies. and contaminating. He shot all 3 people who were just simply burying a dead body and killed them. Then he shot a teacher, and it was a teacher that was teaching his daughter, but he found this teacher in his home at night. So this was in the 1860s. So cave couts. So if you've ever been out to Rancho Guajome, beautiful, beautiful rancho, very historic. One of the most historic sites outside of San Diego proper. There's this murderous spirit out there.
And to think I was like running cross-country practice over there. Probably not. Yeah, too much. Too much.
Well, and then Rancho Buena Vista was also owned by the Couts family. And there's people the paranormal people have been out there, and they have discovered that there's some sort of paranormal portal in Rancho Buena Vista. Now, I don't know what paranormal portal there could be. I don't want to find out.
No.
I don't go into portals.
No, thank you.
No.
No.
I was telling Porsche, if I can just sidetrack a little bit.
Yes, please.
When I lived in Kansas, and Google this, folks, when you get done, but when I lived in Kansas, I grew up there, there was a place called Stull, Kansas, Stull. And it was so haunted, and even today, it was considered one of the 7 portals of hell. And when I was a teenager, when we would drive by that, it was the most terrifying thing. We believed, and we heard stories, that if you went out there at night at a full moon, that the devil would grab you and leave his handprint on you. And that if that is a portal that's happening in Rancho Buena Vista, you can't get me there.
No, thank you. Pass. Hard pass, actually.
So these are the kind of things. Here we are at the Avo.
Yeah.
We're here at the Avo, Porsche, which has its own paranormal activity.
It does.
The Avo was built in 1948. That was 77 years ago. Imagine all the people who came and sat here to watch a movie theater. Imagine all the lives that maybe were, represented here, and maybe their tragic history in some ways.
Yeah.
And you had some information about the Avo.
I did. So they had said that there was paranormal activity here in the back area, in the fitting room, or the green room, if you will, in that seat right where you are, sir. Okay, and in the back corner and in the rafters. And so it's just so scary that we are here tonight.
So there's supposedly cold spots, drafts that just come and go. There's footsteps that you can hear at night. There's someone gliding on the railing.
Yeah.
I feel like I hear something right now, but is that a low hum or is that an air conditioning? I don't know.
Do you hear it?
I do hear something.
I hear it for sure. Do you guys hear it? Yeah. Okay.
So again, the Avo Theater, built in 1948. Now, who is this person or persons?
I don't know. I found a couple names. One was Natalie, and she walks among us. Just saying. Just saying.
Natalie? I thought it was Eva.
Okay, let me share.
Okay.
Are we about to?
Yes.
Roll the tape? Okay. So in 2013, there was a paranormal activity group, if you will, called the Soul Searchers that spent several nights here in the Avo, and they did their research, and they stayed here overnight, and they actually found some paranormal activity here. So you want to run the tape?
If you could come forth and touch that orange light on the stage.
Oh my God.
What?
Dude, you just had an orb flying around your head.
Really?
It was like this big.
There's something here.
It was little. Come on, please. I'm asking nicely. Holy. I had a reading, and I looked up, it went back to 0. You're here. You are here. I saw a reading. We are in the central box is kind of where the production crew sits. They call stage right, stage left, and they call people on, and they oversee the play from up above all the guests. So there's said to be a man up here, wears khakis and a long sleeve white shirt, and there's also said to be something up here that laughs.
Right now, we hear no voices. Who's here with us?
Who's in here? Can you give us a name? Right there. It was really low. Is that Joe?
Joe?
Is that Death?
What the heck? Speaking of this blue light right here, tell us your name. What?
Are you a female or a male?
Are you a woman? We hear a woman. Hey, come over here and speak with us.
I just got cold right here.
You did?
Right here. It's near me.
Yo, remember the air is on over here.
Yeah, but where's their event facing me right now?
Whoa, did you hear that?
What did it say?
I don't know, but it was like, yo.
Oh, I just heard something huge over here.
You did?
Yeah, huge. I heard it. There's something here. My hair is just standing up. There's something here right now.
Speak.
Are you walking through me? Did you hear it?
Oh. Responses, voices.
You are making my hair stand up. I know you are in here. My goosebumps are gone.
They're gone?
I heard something huge, and then I heard 5 seconds later, I heard something again come through this door.
So if you're wondering where they were at, they were right up there, the railing, and that's where they were hearing, all of the activity. And apparently, whatever entity it is that might come and haunt every once in a while, there's a gentleman that appears on the railing and he starts to laugh. I don't have any feedback or not. Portia and I are freaking ourselves out, actually.
I know. Scary. Yep, here we go.
So with the Avo, and it is not unusual, because I was doing a little bit of research. It's not unusual for theaters to be haunted. A lot of times, what?
Something creepy back there.
Okay. I'm going to pretend I don't know.
Just keep going.
Okay.
Just keep going.
Theaters are often haunted because of the tragic stories that they tell, and or the lives of the actors or the people that come in and view these. So again, when you think about the hundreds of thousands of people who've been through the Avo and sat in these seats through the 77 years, we don't know what impressions they may have left here, whether it was the owner at one time of the Avo, and his name was Earl, I think.
Yeah.
We don't know who, was it a Tom that they were talking to, perhaps?
Yes.
But we don't know exactly, and that's kind of the intriguing part, is just the not knowing.
Right. I think it makes it extra scary, like the unknown, if you will.
The unknown is always scary, I think. And so I always try to find out as much as I can, but sometimes when you find out more information, it's even more freaky.
Right.
In the case of the Buena Vista Cemetery, And I don't know how many of you guys have heard about the Buena Vista Cemetery in South Oceanside, or what is now Oceanside. And even though it's an Oceanside cemetery, it was called the Buena Vista. And the Buena Vista Cemetery is now underneath the Hunter Steakhouse.
Ooh. Now this story, this is our next story, and Kristi, I know you're ready to get into that. But first, how about a commercial break?
All right.
More to come.
The Haunted Vista is brought to you by the Vista Chamber of Commerce. Vista has so much to celebrate this season. Don't miss the Vista Made Showcase on Wednesday, November 12th, a networking event where local makers and businesses show off the best of what our community creates. Come on, Gumaro, walk by one more time. I'm not done yet. Yeah. And mark your calendars for one of our city's most beloved traditions, the Vista Christmas Parade on Saturday, December 6th. This year's theme is Rocking Around Vista, a parade of holiday hits. And you'll see floats, performers, and plenty of holiday spirit marching right through downtown Vista. VistaChamber.org and learn more about their events. The Haunted Vista is also brought to you by 7 Seas Bar and Grill. After tonight's chills and thrills, drift across the street to 7 Seas Bar and Grill, Vista's new seafood restaurant, full bar, and fish market. Dive into globally inspired, locally sourced dishes, sip on spooky good cocktails, and take home the freshest catch in town. Open every day from 11 a.m. until late. So after the horror, come taste the hauntingly good flavors at 7 Seas. Don't forget to get your drinks from them in the concession now if your glass is empty. Porsche and Kristi, back to you.
Oh, this is good. This is good. I can't wait for us to get into it. Are you guys ready? All right, let's go.
So just giving you a little bit of background, to my knowledge, Vista does not have a cemetery. Carlsbad did not have a cemetery. And even way back when Oceanside was started to be established, Oceanside did not have a cemetery aside from the Mission San Luis Rey, and that was not even Oceanside. So where are the dead in Vista, Carlsbad, and Oceanside going to be buried?
Kristi, don't play with me. I don't know. Where are they going to go?
So John Chauncey Hayes,
Yeah.
he decides he's the founder of South Oceanside, which was a separate little township. He establishes a cemetery overlooking the Buena Vista Lagoon and the Pacific Ocean, and he calls it the Buena Vista Cemetery. Now, the Buena Vista Cemetery is located on, Vista Way. Back then, it was called Wall Street, which is kind of weird. But Vista Way was called Vista Way because it's the way to Vista, or it's the way from Vista. And people in Vista had nowhere to be buried, and so people from Vista were being buried at the Buena Vista Cemetery. J. Chauncey Hayes laid out this little cemetery. It had 106 plots. So 106 people could be buried there. Not a lot, but it was a really beautiful setting looking over the Pacific Ocean and the Buena Vista Lagoon.
And let me ask you this. Where, before the Buena Vista Cemetery was there, where were they burying people in North County?
Well, chances are they might, if they were Catholic, they would have been buried at the Mission San Luis Rey. And we don't know. They might have just been buried on private property.
Yeah.
And that's why there was a need for a cemetery. And we know that several people from Vista are buried there. Mr. and Mrs. Gorman are buried there. Frank Mead is buried there. Oh, and there's another, Ed Mingus is buried there.
Yeah.
And so there's several people from Vista. And so this little cemetery is established in 1888, 106 plots, and they all had, and the cemetery is laid out with little street names like Yucca and Pansy, and just a little, probably lovely place to bury your loved one.
Yeah. I wonder want everyone to remember that number, 106.
106.
Also hold on to your seats. Here we go.
Yeah. So one of the first burials is probably in 1888. Sadly, it was a mother who died during childbirth, and she was Mrs. Lane, and she and her baby were laid to rest there. And she died in 1888. The cemetery was established. Do I hear whispering? Because that's really freaking me
I
out.
hear crying. I hear weeping.
Do you hear a baby crying? Okay. Is it just me?
All right, Kristi, come on. Keep going. I'm scared, by the way. There we go.
So the history of this little cemetery, again, people from Carlsbad, Vista, and Oceanside are being buried there. One of the early burials there was a man by the name of J.T. Belker. I think I told you this backstage. Yeah. He was hit by a train and cut in half. And they found him in the railroad tracks, and they buried him there. So a lot of times, this was a cemetery by choice. People were burying, but also it was indigent people. Yeah. They found a person, Frank Mead, who had pneumonia, and the newspaper said that he was from Vista, that he had pneumonia and he had gone temporarily insane because of the high fever. He wandered outside and died of exposure, and he was buried at the South Oceanside, or the Buena Vista Cemetery. So with 106 plots, there's 52 of them were occupied. So I want you guys to remember 52. So a little less than half of the cemetery was actually full,
right,
if you will.
Yeah.
And actually, even too, another story that I thought was very compelling, but it's an Oceanside story. The first law enforcement officer who to be killed in the line of duty in Oceanside was killed in 1889. His name was Charles Wilson, and he was killed the evening of July 4th, 1889, and he was buried at that cemetery. There was Civil War veterans that were buried at the cemetery. But by 1895, Oceanside establishes another cemetery called what we call the Ocean View Cemetery on Coast Highway. Yeah. And the little cemetery in Buena Vista that has Vista people, Carlsbad, and Oceanside people, it just is kind of left abandoned. There's no one to care for it. It's a non-endowment cemetery, if you know what that means. There's no funds to take care of it. It has a number of headstones, probably as many as 20 to 30 headstones. The others are wooden crosses. And that cemetery is just kind of left to rot there. The last known burial was that of a little baby. Her name was Meta Spalding, and she died in 1916. And I talked to her adopted sister, Irma, and Irma remembered walking to the cemetery in a little funeral procession for her adopted sister in 1916 when she was buried.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, in 1929, Portia,
here we go.
Wall Street is widened, and it becomes officially Vista Way. Again, it's the way to Vista. It's the way from Vista. Vista Way, just like the 78 is now, was a very, very important, traffic lane thoroughfare from inland to the coastal. And in 1929, they're widening the road, and they need to take people out of the Buena Vista Cemetery. And so one of the people that they dig up is Donathan Blair Frazee, and the newspaper said at that time, and I guess when you disinter someone, you're going to take the liberty to open that casket, and they did. And the newspaper reported that Donathan Blair Frazee was still intact. He died in 1888. This was 30 years later, and he was holding a flower, and the flower still had its color. Now, this was in the newspaper. And Donathan Blair Frazee was reburied in the Ocean View Cemetery.
Yeah.
30 years later, someone opened up that casket to look inside.
Stop it. Stop
I know. And the fact that he was still intact.
Preserved.
The fact that he was still holding a flower that someone probably placed in his hands while they were closing the casket. So When that little cemetery had been abandoned, there was a number of families who said, we don't want our loved ones to remain in this little cemetery. So we have done some research, and 11 people were moved out of that cemetery between probably 1929 and 1930. So if there was 52 people there and 11 were removed, how many does that leave us, Portia?
Please don't make me have to answer a math question. My parents are
How
in the
many
audience.
people were left, Portia?
Don't know
Oh,
the
41.
number. Okay, 40. Thank you. 41.
41 bodies still left at the Buena Vista Cemetery. Now, by this time, some of those wooden crosses have probably disintegrated or
Yeah.
been taken by vandals, but there's still at least 20 headstones still there. But there's 41 people buried there.
That's creepy.
Yeah. And the cemetery is just gone to weeds.
Yeah.
And it probably is a really creepy place that probably kids drive by or, walk by,
Yeah.
even in the 1930s, and it becomes probably a haunted place for kids.
Right.
Yeah, a spooky place.
Super spooky. Keep going. There's more.
So there is more. So what happens, fast forward to 1969, someone comes to the city of Oceanside and says, we want to develop this land that the Buena Vista Cemetery sits on. And we think that only 11 people are buried there.
And we have a video.
Oh, do we have a video first?
Yeah.
What is the video of, though? No,
Oh,
not yet. No,
it's
don't.
not.
I can't show this video yet.
Bill?
'Cause- Okay.
Keep
No,
going.
just wait. Let me let's speed up. I'll tell the story.
The main
Pause.
grave that we found
Go ahead.
of the lady was found about in this area right in here, like I said, about 20 feet out, in perfect condition. It's totally intact. The coffin itself was the old style like you see in the cowboy movies where it's angled up. The only difference to that in those days, and I remember as a child, in those days, they would encase the body half in glass and half in pine. And this lady was a redhead lady, and she had on a frilly collar, like you see back in the early 1900s, I guess, and the button shoes, the black button shoes, and a black dress. That's basically what I remember about her.
Absolutely not. So we played this video, but I want you to share the story of what leads to that video. So this gentleman is Mr. Mencius,
Yeah.
and his family member is actually in the audience tonight, Lindsay Mencius. She is here in person, so thank you for being here. But that is her family's great-great-grandfather, so thank you for being here.
So let me
Leading
go
up to
back
that.
and give some detail
Yeah.
to this, because as I was saying, in 1969, a developer came to the city of Oceanside and wanted to develop that property. And he said that only 11 people were buried there. Now, a city council member asked and said, what if there were 40 people buried there? How many people did I say were buried there?
41.
And Mr. Schwartz said, if there are 40 people there, I will abandon the project. But I think there's only 11 people there. Well, eventually, he got his wish, and they were able to develop this property. Now, sadly, the residents of that neighborhood only protested the removal of this cemetery because they didn't want a restaurant in their neighborhood. They didn't want a gas station in their neighborhood. They weren't concerned about the people, the 41 people that were still left there. So in 1970, they start grading. Actually, no, let me back up. The first day, of course, they removed not 11 bodies, not 11, as Mr. Schwartz, the attorney, said for the developer, but they ended up moving 17 bodies out of the Buena Vista Cemetery. And they didn't rebury them in a North County cemetery. They took them down to San Diego and put them in an unmarked grave without their headstones.
Yeah.
They stacked up their headstones in front of the Hunter restaurant, or what would be the Hunter restaurant, and then they ended up using those headstones, Portia, as fill underneath the off-ramp of the 78.
Spooky. And rude.
So, Mr. Mancius, Manny Mancius, he's one of the first people on the job because he's going to be grading the property, doing the excavating, and he and his crew start their work that very first day after the bodies have been exhumed, and they hit a grave. So they stop production.
Yeah.
They call the city of Oceanside and say, hey, they didn't get everybody. And so somebody says, okay, just wait. And they pull up and they have a burlap bag. And Mr. Mancius sees them put the remains in a burlap bag and drive away.
No
And
words.
so continue on. Manny said that this happened up to 6 times. Each time they would stop, and each time the remains were just taken away. Now, these were just probably bones. They weren't full bodies.
Right.
Okay? But then the time that we just watched this video, Mr. Mancius, I was out there with the Sony Handycam, by the way, in the 90s, and that's where Manny was telling me this story on site.
Yeah.
That when they hit this casket of the lady in black with the lead glass top,
I can't.
red hair, with a neckline, with a frilly neckline,
Yeah.
somebody quit that day, just
On
walked
site.
off the job.
I'm not doing
Couldn't
this.
do it.
Yeah.
And Mr. Mancius was so disturbed about what had happened to the prior remains that he and his crew, his remaining crew, Portia,
Yeah.
decided that day that they weren't going to let anything happen to the lady in black, that they were going to rebury her on the property.
Where'd they bury her?
So if you wonder why the Hunter might be haunted,
It
she
is.
is buried down the slope behind the Hunter Steakhouse.
Yeah.
Because Mr. Mancius thought it was much more dignified for her to be reburied than dumped in a burlap bag. Now, I've always thought that the lady in black could be a lady by the name of Anne, or I think her last name was Easley. For some reason, that just evokes some sort of I don't know, maybe because I'm old and I watched Family Affair and there was a Mrs. Beasley doll.
There you go.
And I just think of Beasley Easley. But that's who I think that it might have been, is Mrs. Easley was reburied down this slope.
Yeah.
And this wasn't the only. Now, Mr. Mancius he's a local person who lives in North County, lives in Oceanside. He is he's someone to be trusted. He's a valid witness. Then another person called, his name was Bill Hitt. He was the one who was excavating what was the gas station next door to the Hunter Steakhouse. He said himself he ran into 5 to 6 additional bodies. So if we take, where are we at on our body count? Where are we at on our body count? If we have 41 minus 17.
Let's ask the audience.
What does that leave
What are
us
we
with?
at?
17 taken from 41. That's 24, right? 24 bodies left at the Buena Vista Cemetery. And Mr. Mancius finds 6. Bill finds maybe as many as 6. So now we've got maybe 12 minus, what did I say?
24.
What, 24? So we've got maybe 12 or 13 left, right? Depending on the count of Bill. Bill Hitt wasn't as positive as Mr. Mancius was. So the Hunter Steakhouse, they don't want to talk about the fact that they're built on top of a cemetery.
Right.
They don't want to talk about it.
Absolutely not.
No. So when the Historical Society wanted to put a plaque of the people that we knew that were buried there, they said, no way, no way. We don't even want to acknowledge, this was in the 90s, we don't even want to acknowledge
Yeah.
that we're on top of a cemetery. They really thought it was taboo. Texaco, who owned the little gas station, it's now a bike shop, which is now a coffee shop. Texaco had to do soils testing in the 1990s. And Texaco, when they did soil testing, they found 5 more bodies. They called Eternal Hills. Eternal Hills called me and said, Kristi, we found 5 more bodies. Now, Texaco did the right thing. They paid for their removal, and they paid for these people to be buried at Eternal Hills, but they don't know who they are. So we're still left with a body count of, say we've got 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Now we've taken 5. What have we got left, Portia?
What do we have left, audience, for a free drink? What do you have? 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 7. There you go. Thank you.
But it's really disturbing. It's really disturbing that this cemetery was desecrated in such a way, and that these people were treated with such indignity.
Yeah.
And that the lady in black, she's still there, and we're not even counting her as part of the body count, folks. We're not even counting her. Yeah. So there's a solid, 7.
It's for sure haunted. For
Right.
sure haunted.
Right.
What stories have you heard about Hunter Steakhouse, and how, if you're in South or you're in North County, people often say, oh, don't go to the Hunter Steakhouse because it's haunted.
Right.
Despite them having amazing brunch, $19.99 every Sunday. But I mean, I've gone in there and the lights are flickering, the fireplace, people have reported glass falling on the ground. So what can you speak into that?
So yes, so the employees, even though, and I remember calling the owner of, and this was in the 90s, and calling the current owner at the time. It was a management company, and again, he didn't want to talk about the fact that it was sitting on a cemetery.
Right.
He acknowledged it to me, but he didn't want this to come out. But what started happening was that the employees there started talking.
Right.
And there's a detective with the Oceanside Police Department. His name is John Lamb, and he actually wrote a book about, I think it's called San Diego Sightings, if I'm not mistaken. And he had talked to a number of people who worked at the Hunter, who had said that they
I'm spooked. Keep going. Keep going. You're doing great.
They would hear a woman laughing. They would see the chandelier swinging. They would hear glass breaking. There was just a number of things that people would hear. Again, drafts. It's the same here as the Avo Theater. There'd be a cold draft for no reason. They would hear, again, a woman laughing. So that's how it started to get out that the Buena Vista was
Right.
haunted, because the employees there are the ones who had experienced things
Firsthand,
and they didn't even know at times that they were on top of a cemetery. Like, it's the Poltergeist movie. It's the Poltergeist movie. Mm-hmm. And this was about a year ago when the bike shop was turning into a coffee shop. They were doing digging for drainage, and I drove by there and I walked around that property and I thought, do they know what they're digging into?
Did you let them know? Kristi, what'd you say? What'd you say? You let them know, huh?
Well, I wanted to, but I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah. What's the bodies? No, there was.
There's dead bodies.
But at the time when we put the plaque out on the sidewalk in front of the Hunter Steakhouse Historical Society, I think we had only had 45 people. We only had 45 names there, and then to come to find out that there's now 52. And I'm still doing research. I'm still constantly researching the cemetery. I'm still finding through obituaries, through death certificates, and other means that people are buried there. In fact, even the plots that were sold by the Hayes family.
Right.
And so the Hunter Steakhouse, sitting on top of at least 6 to 7, maybe 8 more bodies, and then of course the lady in black is still there. And we don't know where the lady in black, if it's Mrs. Easley, if it's just Mrs. Gorman, if it's Mrs. Lane, the lady who maybe died during childbirth. And so it's an interesting story because her story of being intact, she was probably, even if she was buried at the very latest in probably 1906, she had been buried there for 70 years.
Yeah. I don't do scary.
Was that on purpose, or was that?
Is that part of the show? Let us know.
What was I saying? I don't even know anymore. What was I saying? Help me.
Bodies buried. Bodies buried. The lady in black.
Something
We didn't
about-
know if it
oh.
was like the lady in black. It
well,
was the mother who died in
yes.
childbirth. Miss
But-
Gorman. We don't know.
But it's really interesting to know, though, that her body was intact, just like Jonathan Blair Frazee's body was intact. Now, the ground there at the Buena Vista Cemetery is like heavy clay, and so it either, in some instances, has it disintegrates the
Right.
bodies, or it preserves the bodies. So the other thing is we have a map. Because there was a recorded map of the cemetery. It was recorded, it was laid out in 1888, it was recorded in 1893, and the bodies that we know, at least 4 of them, were right on the edge where the Hunter is now. If you do an overlay of the cemetery on that property, it's right where the Hunter is. There's no mistaking.
right.
So do the ghost of Vista? Does the ghost of Carlsbad? Is it the ghost of Oceanside? Who's haunting the Hunter?
Somebody.
And it's really, really horrible to think that it's a steakhouse right?
Kristi. I think it's someone from Hunter Steakhouse calling. Hold up.
Who's
Oh,
Tales
okay.
from the Dead?
Right? Okay, so how many people do you think are still buried there? You're a historical expert.
I
how many,
I
based off your
really,
research?
honestly, with all my heart, without even trying to be dramatic at all,
Yeah.
because I'm a person who likes to deal in facts, and
Yes.
I really truly believe that truth is stranger than fiction. I really, really hold to that,
Yeah.
and I really do believe there's probably at least 7, maybe 8 bodies still buried there. And are they under?
Like, this is part of the show, but I'm creeped out.
I-
Keep going.
Are they under the restaurant? Are they in the parking lot? Now, we took cadaver dogs out. Yeah, well, because we didn't know. I wish we would have taken them out when that trench was being dug out, for
Right.
the coffee shop, because there was more exposed. But we did take cadaver dogs out a few years ago to see if they came up with any sense. And these were actually real cadaver dogs who had worked on missing person cases and had worked for the sheriff's department. So these were real working dogs. And unfortunately, they didn't hit on anything. But if they're underneath,
All that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so the other thing, there's been a number of paranormal groups, just like have been here to the Avo, who have talked and tried to reach out to the spirits. There have been seances held. There's an annual event, I think, that's held at the Hunter now.
Yeah. Oh, now they want.
Now
Now they want
now
the
they
attention.
embrace it. Now
Yeah.
they embrace it, whereas before they did not want to. The feedback is just creeping me out.
That's
But also,
haunting.
I think there have been like images, these electromagnetic images that they have caught, like walking, across the room.
Yeah.
And it's like it comes out like as a stick figure, but they distinctly hear a woman's voice. And that woman's voice, the employees have heard over the years as well.
Oh, my goodness. Like that?
Do you hear that humming?
Yes.
Yeah,
Creeped.
I know.
I'm
I know.
creeped out, Kristi. It's scary.
It is disturbing.
Because, like you said, truth sometimes is scarier than what we
It is.
imagine.
It is, and the very fact that again that 11 of those people had been reburied because their family members cared about them and didn't want them. But this was the final resting place. Nobody would have thought 100 years later, or 60 years later, 80 years later, that your great grandfather would have been, dug up and unceremoniously, reburied somewhere.
Right, with the headstones stacked on top of each other, with the burlap sack, like
A burlap sack.
You could have never imagined.
So what happened to the burlap sacks, Portia?
I don't know. You tell me. What happened?
I don't know.
Oh,
Manny, if I remember correctly, Manny told me that they just put them in the back of a car and drove away,
and nobody knows where they are.
and nobody knows. Was it Mr. Mingus? Was it J.T. Belker? I don't know.
Oh
You
my
know.
goodness, I can't. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good. Was it good, guys? Yeah. All right, Zeke, what do you have for us?
I'm looking for questions from the audience. I
Oh, it's
can't
go
imagine that there isn't.
Oh.
There's no reason for it. There's
We
got
got
to be
one
some
right in
some
the
Q&A
front.
happening right here. I see a hand up over there. I appreciate
hand up here.
that. Natalie Galley-Salisbury, let's start with you, please.
So I worked at the Army Navy Academy in Carlsbad for 11 years.
I went there for dances. Shout out Army Navy.
And when I first started working there, I was warned about, I was a nurse in the health center. And that's the oldest building on campus. And I was warned about some of the paranormal activity on that campus, but primarily in the department that I worked. And I just kind of poo-pooed that, But I had a couple of experiences there.
Yeah.
But my question is, did Mrs. Lane die at a brothel off of the 5?
No, not Mrs. Lane. Mrs. Lane was married, and her husband was at the graveside. So I don't think she was a brothel. Why does brothel come to mind?
Because
Please
the health center.
please tell.
Yeah. Prior to it being the school was born in 1910.
Right.
But prior to that, it was a space where military people would stop and spend the night, eat. There was a brothel, and the health center was the brothel. And so I had, and like I said, I had an experience there. I'll spare it because it's kind of long, but what I understand is there was a woman who got pregnant and had a child and died during childbirth up above us.
So what I know from Mr. Oh my God! What I know from Mrs. Lane that she died,
was cheating.
Yeah. Oh.
She's telling me to shut up.
She died in 1888, and she died in Oceanside. And the Lane family had just arrived in Oceanside, and I guess she was in the process of giving childbirth. The baby didn't make it, and then shortly after that, Mrs. Lane died. So kind of a sad story, but I don't believe it's related. But that doesn't mean that some of the other, because there's a number of people from Carlsbad,
Right.
who are buried there as well. Yeah, so it
that's
could be
good.
related. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I got another one back here. Please, if anybody else have any questions, prepare them now.
Oh, there we go.
Yes, hello. So when they scan the dirt, they see that there's a body there. They dig them up. Do they open the coffin and check if the body's still? They just kind of just grab the whole coffin and just like move it and bury it without opening it.
So which removal are you talking about?
Any of them.
Any of them. So when Mr. Mancias was discovering the bodies, he said they were mostly disintegrated. They were just remains. So they were just bones. And because the caskets back then would have just been wooden, they might have been very, not that they wouldn't have been embalmed, but they were probably very simple pioneer burials, putting them in a wooden box and burying them 6 feet under. So there was nothing for them to open up when they were just finding the bones, if you will. So they were finding intact and partial skeletons. But when the lady in black was discovered, they did not have to open up that casket because half of it was lead glass, and they could see inside. And so I did even look into glass caskets. It was a thing from the turn of the century. So if you wanted to have a viewing, it was a very discreet way for you to view the body at a funeral without having an open casket. So that's how Mr. Mancias was able to see the lady in black, because of this lead glass casket.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know why I'm so freaked
Thanks. Thanks, Ghost.
I'm curious, do you know what the connection is between Eva and the laughing man here?
The
Because
laughing
they-
man?
On the soul.
With the apparent khaki shorts.
Yeah. I have no connection. I would just think that there's probably, yes? Does
Yeah.
he know?
Do you know?
I know, but there's kids here. I don't
You
wanna
know
say
what?
it out loud. I think he's laughing at her.
Oh, I thought Eva was laughing because that man did not have manners and didn't say please. Oh.
I kissed you. Maybe it's an
You heard better
unrequited
than
love. I
us.
know you know more than I do. Now you're freaking me out.
All right,
because you know the
share us
story.
your theory. Come on. Oh my goodness.
I do think that, you know, if you believe in ghosts, ghosts love to torment people. I think this laughter is just a way, you know,
Yeah.
what are they laughing about? Because
Oh,
they're
that's a
spooking
good one.
us?
We're
What's
gonna come
that?
see you after. You might be onto something.
Who? What do you say?
She was saying how they were laughing.
It's kind of
I have another question. So, from your knowledge, what decides what place that will be haunted? Because I've gone to Eternal Hills like at night to visit, like, you know, past friends that have passed, and I've been there by myself, you know, and I've never seen anything or anything. So, from your knowledge, like, what causes these certain places to have these, you know, situations and
You know, I don't know that. I don't know, but I will say that there's probably, again, if you're a ghost believer and a ghost seeker, I think you're probably sensitive to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Eternal Hills may or may not have those visitations because it's an active cemetery and there's a lot of activity there.
Right.
But if you think about the haunted, this abandonment, this cemetery at Buena Vista was abandoned. It was abandoned because people were leaving. It was abandoned because it wasn't being taken care of. It was abandoned, you know, just altogether, really forgotten. There was a lady who owned it, a teacher, a school teacher by the name of Beth Harris French, ended up owning it. She bought the cemetery because she wanted to preserve her view of the lagoon. And then she wanted to kind of foist the cemetery off on somebody else because she didn't want it. So this cemetery is abandoned. And so you've got, if you believe in this kind of stuff, this restless, forgotten, abandoned, you know, this unsettled.
You get haunted when you're being naughty and you forget about them. So they're like, woo, and coming up on you. Mm-hmm.
And if you build a building on top of people,
Right,
It's
like,
their
come on.
it's their eternal rest.
Building on
It's
top.
called
They're gonna
rest
flicker
in
the
peace.
fireplace.
You've got another question?
Building on top of people is crazy. I
Right?
like
That's so rude. They're gonna be like, woo, like
it's rude. If
you
nothing
actually
else,
have
it's
it coming
rude,
your-
right,
it's
Porsche?
coming to you. You bear it
Okay,
on top of me. I'm gonna
I want to
scare
make
you.
an announcement. Anybody else who's got an empty glass? I don't. But if you want to grab a drink,
They're screaming
Seven
'cause their
Seas
glasses are
is
empty.
shutting down. Last call for that. Meanwhile, I have a couple more questions for Kristi and Porsche, please. My friend over here is a little bit shaken, so hopefully you can help her out with her question.
So my great-grandmother's younger sibling was Meta Spalding,
No.
the last person buried at
No.
Buena Vista Cemetery.
Irma Spalding?
Irma Spalding is my great-grandmother. I have a tattoo for her. It says Irma on my rib cage because
Stop
she taught me
it.
how to crochet and how to sew. She told me growing up that when her younger sibling was buried, they walked home to Fire Mountain, which is where she lived, in Oceanside, close by. So I was just wondering, was there any more information? Was Meta ever moved, or any more information? And it's shaking me because I thought that was family knowledge and not citywide, greater than that knowledge. So that's kind of cool in that respect.
Yeah. So Meta was an adopted baby.
Yes.
And maybe she was born from a teenage mother, and so the Spalding family, who had a dairy in South Oceanside, they adopted her, but then she died shortly after. And that's, before Irma died, she came to visit me and she was telling me about this. I was
Irma, sorry to interrupt you, but Irma growing up told me her first car was a Model T Ford delivering milk on the dairy in the early years. So that is crazy to hear from somebody else.
They only lived... the initial dairy was like on Stewart Street in South Oceanside,
yes,
so it was a very easy walk to the cemetery.
Yes,
but Meta was one of those who was reburied because the Spalding family was still around, and it shows you how much they cared about this baby, even though they didn't have her very long. Number one, the Spalding family were so kind-hearted to adopt this child who had no mother, and then when she was buried, they gave her a proper burial. But then when the cemetery was being abandoned, they disinterred Meta and put her in the Ocean View Cemetery. So Meta was not forgotten.
That brings a lot of resolution. That makes me feel a lot better.
Yes.
Because my great-grandma, Irma, is very near and dear to me. So it was just great to hear all of that, Because she went on to marry, Ratcliffe and was not Spalding much longer, so... Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kristi knows her stuff.
Yeah,
Oceanside
clearly.
Historical Society. That's great.
We might have to talk after this.
Yeah.
So yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
She was the one who raised me, and I appreciate Irma so much. So great to know someone else knew how great she was.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Anybody else have questions? I have a question from Terry Woods in the back.
I don't even
I have
know
a question
how
from
you
Terry
follow up
Woods,
after
North
that.
County Daily Star.
Hi, ladies. Can you address the haunting at Quest Haven?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so what I knew about Quest Haven, when I came here to Oceanside in 1983, I was told, and I don't mean to just be disrespectful at all, but I was told that that Quest Haven was kind of like this insane asylum. Okay, so we.
Give this man a mic.
I drove out there, and we were told that people would just, what, you never saw the witch? Okay, you tell me.
But as I was growing up, oh no.
They said don't hand him a mic. Here we go.
I don't know. No, we used to do that when we were in high school. We would drive so far, and then you would hear scraping on the top of your van and your truck.
You know what? It was more the people I grew up with that caused the chaos.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
but I've been on the property in Quest Haven through work, and that place is a trip. They've got a full temple, and I can't even explain it. But,
well, I heard so many stories about it.
Yeah.
Tell us the story you were going to tell, Kristi.
Well, hold on. I already knew
sorry,
better
Portia.
to not even go over there. So tell your story.
So we drove out there like late at night. And this is like in the 80s, 80s. I would say my guess is probably 85, 86. We drive out there. And of course, I'm already hyped up. People are telling me I'm almost crying because I don't want to go. It's dark. There's not a light out there. We go through there and we're just, and I've been told that there's people who wander the grounds. They're insane. They're criminally insane. And I don't remember, or if I'm making this up, I don't remember, but I think we saw somebody wandering through the fields, and I think I said, I want to go home, I want to go home. And then all of a sudden, a light shone on us, and it was the sheriff's department, and he said, get the hell out of here. And that even freaked me out more, that the sheriff's department, was out there, and he was telling us to leave, and it's like, what's out here? Why? I mean, he didn't want us probably bothering this.
Oh my goodness.
So
Well,
is
thank you for
Quest
that.
Haven haunted? It certainly had the reputation as being a haunted place.
Oh my goodness. Do we have maybe one last question?
Oh, right here.
One last question. Anybody else got a question?
This guy's full of questions.
Yeah.
I love it.
This is just a random thought I had 5 seconds ago. Maybe talking about the buried bodies that have not been found. Think about it. Since the start of mankind, how many bodies are buried literally everywhere? Then just over the thousands of years. Erosion, etc. So I'm pretty sure right here we're buried over we're on top of thousands of bodies throughout mankind. I mean, just a thought.
For sure. I'm no expert. I'm going to take this one. I mean, you're absolutely right? There's burial grounds, but we are specifically talking about hunters. When you know better, you do better. So, yeah, probably throughout the years, we're probably walking on people who have been buried. But when you know that you're building on top of a burial site,
this
that's
didn't
a whole
happen
nother
1,000
level.
years ago. This happened in our lifetime.
Yeah.
This happened in our lifetime. In this day and age, that they would remove a cemetery, and the only protest was that we don't want a steakhouse, or we don't want a restaurant in our neighborhood. That was the question.
So if we had to, we did a little Q&A, a little random thought. We did our announcements. If you had to sum up things tonight, what are we doing? Sum it up for the audience.
Well, it is the haunting season.
Yeah.
And people love to be scared, and people love to be creeped out, and people love to be spooked. And I think when you're sitting here in the Avo, where there's been, verified, happenings here, paranormal, otherwise, otherworldly, here we are, right? Talking about a cemetery and a restaurant that's been haunted, it's just, it is, there's things that remember there's this TV show, The Unexplained. We can't explain everything.
Right.
We can't explain why, if the Avo is haunted, why it's haunted, who's haunted it, who's Earl, who's Joe, who's Eva.
Right? Yeah. No.
Maybe one day we'll know.
I don't know.
Maybe, just maybe, there's a cemetery under the Avo. No, I'm kidding.
I know, right? Our friend with the random thought. That's what he was saying.
Random thought.
How about it for Kristi Hawthorne and Porsche Locker, ladies and gentlemen?
It's all Kristi.
One more time, a little bit louder. They put in a lot of energy on this to give you guys a lot of information and entertainment for tonight. Thank you guys so much. The Coastal Crimes Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
This Sunday, October 19th,
Yes.
there's free costume giveaway. You guys pay attention to that. Go ahead, Porsche.
I have one more plug because I literally was doing it on the side of the stage. I created an Instagram. It's called Coastal Crime 760. Give us a follow. Kristi, she is so knowledgeable, and she has just been so kind and asked me to co-host, but she really is a wealth of knowledge. On our podcast, we talk about the Netflix documentary Killer Sally, where we have actual family relations. So, please follow Coastal Crime 760. There's not a photo up there,
Coastal
but
Crime 760.
you'll be the first. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Fright Night, October 24th, ladies and gentlemen. Fright Night. Don't forget about Fright Night. Thank you guys for attending. I hope you had a great time.